if we want to provide technology that is going to serve the world, we need to earn the world's trust. We need to ensure that people who use the cloud have confidence in it. And we need to do so amidst pretty stormy seas. And we need to figure out how to navigate these waters. I think in the first instance, this really calls on all of us to define a principled approach and a principled path forward. And that starts by recognizing in part that this is a difficult and complicated issue in part because there are multiple values that are important and they are sometimes in tension with each other. Not always, but sometimes. We need, of course, to live in a world where the public is safe, and we want to live in a world where people's privacy and freedom of expression is protected. We need to do both of these things. We need to live in a peaceful world that requires respect for national sovereignty and each other's borders, but we also want to live in a world where markets are open and the internet creates a genuinely global network. We need to hold those values in balance as well. If we're going to find our way forward, it is helpful, we believe, that we can look to a few guiding North Stars. One of them is that we need an internet that is governed by law. When cyberspace was first discussed, people talked about it almost from a utopian perspective and from a sense that it would be better if there were no law. But what we've come to appreciate is that there needs to be law that governs the internet, but it needs to be good law. But second, it needs to be a law in which elected governments strike the balance between these various principles. Sometimes people come to those of us who work in the tech sector, and I always feel the same way. I said, look, nobody elected us. These are fundamental democratic principles and values, and these balances need to be struck by the people who are elected by the population to represent them. And we will have a point of view, we want to share it, we will comply with the laws when they are passed. But fundamentally, we need to look to government to continue to play the important role that it does. But as we do so, I believe there is one other principle that can help achieve this balance and sometimes break through the clutter, and that is the power of transparency. The more we can ensure that the public knows how data are being used, the more we can take concrete steps that will help people have the trust and confidence that they deserve. Now, the fact that governments need to set the rules and play this vital role doesn't mean that companies don't have important work to do. I fully recognize that. Certainly, we at Microsoft think about the role that we want to play as a company. It fundamentally starts with a sentence that Satya Nadella, our CEO, shared in a strategy memo with our employees about 18 months ago. And fundamentally, what Satya said was this: technology needs to advance, but timeless values need to endure.